I am so glad that you are here, and we are going to be talking about layering in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and we are going to get started as we talk about what to do with all of these pencils in your box. What do you do with the 2H, with the HB, with the 2B, with the 4B, with the 6B? We will be discussing 4 different pencils today, and I can't wait for you to get started. Let's see if you can see when the sunshine appears on the paper. Let's go. Let's grab our pencils and let's get started on a concept known as layering. You're going to need a few different pencils today. We're going to be using 4 different types of pencils to achieve 5 different values. So we're going to grab our HB pencil, then we're going to also have our 2H pencil, and then we're going to have our 2B pencil, finally our 4B pencil. So we're going to start off by drawing a quick little circle. You can either freehand this, or you can use a cup or something that is circular like a compass. You can go ahead and draw out your perfect or not so perfect circle. Now we will begin our first layer of our layering. You can use a 2H pencil or HB pencil for this, and you're going to quickly show where the side of your object is furthest away from the light source. So our light source is coming from the top right. We're going to quickly just draw a quick shadow, and we're going to cover our entire object with a quick base layer. So we'll talk more about this in a few minutes, but this base layer will help us as we layer with our different types of pencils, and we protect the paper from any deep marks. So gently use your pencil across the paper, just gently covering this with a light layer, going from dark to light as it gets closer to the light source. Now we're going to grab our 4 pencils again, and we're going to create 5 different values. So that's 5 different values. We're going to be drawing 5 small squares across the bottom of our paper, or you can use a new paper for this, but 5 different squares. These 5 values are going to show us how well we are doing with our layering and making sure that we are getting the 5 different values of light to dark. So our 5th value is going to be our darkest value, and we're going to go ahead and fill this in with a base layer of our 2H pencil. Now our 1 is our lightest. This is our lightest value. This value is also completely blank, so that is called negative space. It goes from light to dark. Our 5th value is going to be our darkest. This is going to be our darkest section. So this is going to be almost completely black. Each pencil has a different name, and they land on a scale from lightest and hardest to softest or softer and darker. So these pencils are going to go from the H pencils, and they slowly go to the B pencils. So these B pencils are darker and softer, but this scale helps us to see which pencils we should use in our layering. We're starting off with the pencils that we're using today: 2H, HB, 2B, and 4B. These pencils range from lightest and hardest to darker and softer, and as you go to the right, you'll get darker and softer. As you go to the left, lightest and hardest. These pencils are used for our layering, and all of them are to be used in a particular way. So make sure that you're never pressing down hard on your paper. This is super important, just not to be damaging our paper. So make sure that you are just gently, lightly shading in with your pencils any time that your pencil touches the paper. Your main priority is to protect your paper. Gently be shading on your paper. Don't ever be pressing hard into the tooth of the paper. So we're going to go ahead and add a base layer from 2 to 5. Remember, number 1 is completely blank and negative. Number 2 is going to be your lightest square. Number 5 is going to be your darkest square. So
this 3 and 4 is going to be a little bit of a transition zone. So make sure that you are gently, barely adding anything to number 2. Number 3, you can add a little bit more pressure as we're going to be adding another pencil, our softer pencil. Next, our 2B pencil. We're going to be coming up. We're going to skip number 2 completely, going to number 3, and we're going to be gently adding another layer on top of number 2H. We're going to be adding our 2B pencil. And we're going to be adding a little bit of a darker layer. So why do we skip from 2H or HB right onto 2B? Why do we skip around? Like, why do we go even to another pencil at all? Because our harder pencils are going to add a very light layer. Obviously, we want to make it darker, but we don't want to get that shiny look to our paper by burnishing our paper. So we want to make sure that we are getting that good, clean look. Now, finally, we're going to be using our 4B pencil. We're going to be giving ourselves another layer on number 4 and also on number 5. And we'll be giving a little bit more pressure going vertically, horizontally, and then also diagonally on number 5, still using that very light pressure. Of course, there will be some pressure, but we're going to be doing very, very light pressure on this. So you can clearly see 1 through 5, very distinct different values. If you have a value that's too dark or too light, adjust as necessary using your kneaded eraser or maybe adding a little bit more with your pencil. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have our values completely done. So all of the principles we just learned by creating our 5 values and layering from the lightest and hardest H pencils to our darker and softer B pencils, we're going to be using our pencils to create layers. Now we're going to be using our pencils to go from darker to lighter as we get closer to the light source. Then we're going to be making sure that we are using our pencils in the correct order. So you want to be using your harder pencils, so your HB pencils, and then going to your B pencils, so 2B, 4B. You may have like other pencils as well in your box, that's fine, but these are just the pencils that we are using today. So as you're going from the darker area of your drawing, so that's going to be the furthest away from the light source, you're going to have more pressure, more layers on the darker area than you will at the lighter area. Your 2B and your 4B pencil should probably never even touch the lightest area of the drawing. Just like we didn't use the 2B and 4B pencil in our values 1 and 2, we're not going to be using that in the lighter area of our drawing. But making sure that you are reflecting all 5 values in your drawing, you want to make sure that all 5 of these are being shown. So you will see that we have right now, we have about 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 5th value will be coming in a little bit later, but we're going to be making sure that all 5 of these are reflected in our drawing. That just shows good, complete drawings and understandings of light. Now, sometimes in different drawings, you won't be needing the 1 or the 5. You'll be using different values, but this is really helpful to show good form, good light on form. Now, while we may have some outlines for our initial drawing, we don't want to ever have lines on our final piece. So this area that's closest to the light source is going to be the lightest area. Go ahead and just erase that away. We don't ever want any lines on a true object in nature. Make sure this area that you erased is blended with your other areas and you're done.
Hey, and welcome to the end of the video. I'm so glad that you made it to this point. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will get to those as soon as I am able, or maybe answer some questions that other people dropped in the comments. That will be really helpful for the artist community. I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for coming.